Hello and welcome. My name is Jeff Malone. I'm the CEO of BioMelbourne Network, and welcome to the Trade Mission 2022 between Victoria and Singapore Asia Pacific. We're going to give everyone another 30 seconds to a minute just to settle in as a function of Zoom, and then we'll formally commence. So we'll be with you again in just a moment. All right, well, once again, hello and welcome to our BioForum. And it's an overview of the Victorian Singaporean health tech ecosystems. My name is Jeff Malone. I'm the CEO of BioMelbourne Network, and it's my great pleasure to be here to host the discussion today. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet throughout Australia and their continued connections to land, sea, and culture. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who may be online today. I'm personally joining you from the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. So thank you. This all started a few years ago when I was first working or I was most recently working in Singapore, and working with all the folks that you see online today. Who are going to be presenting. And the idea for the trade mission really came together during the lockdown, and originally started with this as an entirely virtual trade mission. I brought the idea to Global Victoria, who was really supportive of and understanding of the value that the Victorian service sector provides to this ecosystem here in Victoria and to Australia more broadly. And the value that could bring to the Singapore Asia Pacific region. So it's really evolved over the past year from being that sort of virtual trade mission to having a combination of some of these information sessions and the face-to-face element, which was added as we started as we actually came in to work with Investix, who is hosting us at the Swiss conference. So how is the trade mission really working now? We're going to have the two virtual sessions, this information session today on the overview of both ecosystems in Victoria and in Singapore. We'll have another session, a little more granular detail, hearing from some startups and others, and some service providers in Victoria about their actual experience working between the two locations. We'll have, of course, the Swiss conference, and we have a range of I think the 29 companies who are in the trade mission. I think we have 12 to 14 traveling with me up to Singapore. And then in November, we'll have a BioForum, and we'll be working with our trade mission partners to identify the key aspects and information that we're going to present in that BioForum in November. So we're also working in the behind the scenes to send out surveys to the participating medtech companies. And those surveys will be gathering some more detail about the companies, their products, where they stand in their translation journey, and what services they may be interested in. And we're also putting together a contact list of all the trade mission participants here in Victoria, so that people are aware of the services that are available from those companies. And both will be made available to all the participants, so that really the idea is you can be starting to make those connections right away, either connecting yourself or working through BioMelbourne Network or others to make those connections. Later on, and I'll present this, we're going to have a new virtual networking platform by the name of Willem. And that's going to be launching publicly late in October, and we'll be providing more information about how that works and getting everyone access to that, so that we can really build a long-term bridge between the two ecosystems where you can find each other, et cetera. We have a great lineup of speakers today who will give us a wonderful introduction to both sides and to get our trade mission program started. We'll be hearing from a number of leaders who represent the following organizations. We've got, of course, here in Victoria, we've got Global Victoria, and that is Magella Hamilton, who's going to present there. I'm going to be presenting about BioMelbourne Network itself. And then we'll have MedTech Actuator, who actually runs a program both here and in Singapore, Start Central, Enterprise Singapore, of course, MedTech Innovator, Singapore Biodesign, and Jumpstart. So, and of course, thank you to all of our members, colleagues, trade mission participants on both sides for dialing into the session, and a special welcome to all those joining, especially from Singapore or anywhere in the region. In terms of housekeeping, attendees have been muted for the duration of the event. However, we do encourage you to submit questions via the chat function, or sorry, the Q&A function. So if you can do so throughout the event, we'll address those questions again in the Q&A function at the end of the discussion. We may even get to answering some of those with our trade mission participants during the session. Now we're a little bit past the housekeeping. I'd like to begin the session with an overview of BioMelbourne Network and how we sort of fit into this picture. So BioMelbourne Network, next please. So BioMelbourne Network, we've been around for about 20 years, and we represent the entire health tech ecosystem here in Victoria, or life sciences. From the smallest startup to the largest corporation, from individual researchers to content research organizations, service providers, and consultants, et cetera. So we have a broad representation of the entire ecosystem in Victoria, not only the members of BioMelbourne Network. Next, please. So if you look at the breakdown, about a third of the members of BioMelbourne Network are service providers. We also have a great number of support services, biotech and pharmaceutical, medtech and digital. Next, please. So although we have about 204 member organizations, or 215 member organizations, we probably represent about 5,000 to 7,000 people across the system here in Victoria. In the health tech industry, how do we define that? That's front-end biomedical and bioengineering research, pharmaceutical and biotech development and manufacturing, medical technology development and manufacturing, digital solutions to the healthcare industry, vitamins and supplements, topical products, support services, clinical trials, CROs, design, development, regulatory, QMS, and more. And you'll see a lot of those participants in the trade mission companies themselves. Next, please. So why are we here? I mean, BioMelbourne Network was started again 21 years ago to foster and grow an innovative, globally competitive health tech industry in Victoria. And we were going to do that through the initiatives and the strategy that we've developed over the last few years. And that strategy that I'll take you through briefly today covers these areas: data and insight, identifying opportunities, advocacy, health tech industry development, and sector promotion. Next, please. So data and insights. Data and insights, we really want to be the go-to source for the industry and the Victorian government for insights on sector potential, priorities, and needs. We write white papers and do data analytics on the sector, and so we look for those opportunities, identify funding models, and develop white papers and reporting around that. And we also get data and insights directly from various members around where their pain points are and what their needs are to help either their individual organizations grow or that are needed, support that's needed for the sector. Next, please. Out of those data and insights, we start identifying opportunities and getting involved in working groups. And those working groups might be led by BioMelbourne Network, or they might be led by the industry themselves or government. The point of those working groups is really to pull the right people together around an issue from industry and government and other resources so that we can get a result out of that for the industry according to the scope of work that we're trying to attack with that particular working group. Now, out of those working groups, the results might be a collaboration between industry. It might be an industry-only led output. It also might be that we go towards an advocacy position with government. So next, please. And so with advocacy, we really are the peak body for Victorian health tech industry to build and maintain a supportive regulatory policy and investment environments. And so we're advocating for sector priorities. We act as an advisor to the Victorian government in the health tech industry, and we support a range of government initiatives, and in this case, trade missions to help grow and strengthen the industry. Next, please. Health tech industry development. So we deliver, sponsored initiatives and fee-paying initiatives to help improve and strengthen and enhance that in the industry, aligned with the data and insights we get and the various working groups. So some of the things that we're doing, and we'll point out today, is the new virtual networking platform, which I'll give you some more information on in a moment. We're also making sure that BioMelbourne network, even though it is called Melbourne, we are actually representing the entire state and connecting that state around the country. We do a range of training, symposia, forums, and business insights events during the year, 25 to 30 per year. And by the way, anyone can join. Those are entirely hybrid events now, post-pandemic, so that certainly we do have in-person here in Victoria, but all of those events now are also live streamed so that you can join and be participating in Q&A online and get a recording of those events. So I encourage everyone to sign up to our newsletter and watch out for those events, because they're very much focused around supporting translation of research and innovation into commercialized products. We focus on collaboration and trying to find opportunities for our member organizations and the ecosystem here in Victoria to connect up and collaborate with others within the ecosystem around Australia and internationally, and generally gives member support. Next, please. This is the screenshot of our new Willem platform. This is the home page for that, and this is going to be up. This is up and running now. We're still programming the platform fundamentals behind the scenes. It's a globally used platform, but we're just personalizing it for our own use. Over the next week, we'll start to put out information where you can click on that, register your interest in participating, and when we actually go live, you'll get a automatic registration as part of our launch. Next, please. And so if you look at it, once you actually log in, what you're going to see is an opportunity to not only talk about what your company does and post information or updates about your own organization opportunities, but you can have discussions. There'll be an events calendar in there so that the events that we do or that we hold between Singapore and Victoria, for example, will be posted in there. You'll actually be able to search the database for the other participants who are on who are engaged in that community, so that you can find and be found. Next, please. And sector promotion. So member business development and support, improve profile and awareness of BioMelbourne network and what we do around the country, around the state, around the country, and internationally in this case, and really providing promotional and advertising opportunities for our members so that they can get better known and they can, through their growth and through strengthening those service providers and those organizations, that grows and strengthens the entire health tech industry here in Victoria. Next, please. That's it. And so with that, we actually have our next speaker, who is Magella Hamilton. And Magella is the trade manager for health and life sciences with Global Victoria. She provides international trade facilitation services to health and life science businesses in Victoria and research institutes that are looking to undertake business overseas. She's responsible for assisting stakeholders in Victoria to access trade opportunities in key markets of interest. And so with that, Magella, over to you.
Thanks, Jeff, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. As Jeff said, my name is Magella Hamilton, and I'm the Trade Manager for Health and Life Sciences at Global Victoria. Global Victoria is the trade facilitation arm of the State Government of Victoria, and we support Victorian businesses export their goods and services throughout the world. Our services, particularly in the health and life science sector, including those online today, are instrumental in growing our economy, promoting our sector, and creating a thriving collaborative ecosystem. Their services and expertise in this sector assist not only attracting foreign companies into this market, but also the talent that is required to continue to evolve and strengthen our capabilities, ensuring our ongoing global competitiveness. Next slide, Emma. Victoria has built a globally competitive health and medical research ecosystem. It's Australia's life science powerhouse. It is one of only 4 cities in the world to have 2 or more universities in the top 40 of life sciences and medicine, with Monash University being ranked #1 in the world this year for pharmacy and pharmacology. Victoria also has 22 internationally recognised medical research institutions. This makes Victoria a hub of innovation, for innovation and ideas in drug development, regenerative medicine, clinical trials, diagnostics, device development, manufacturing, and much, much more. Next slide, Emma. Victoria's health technology industry is thriving. We have a large and diverse workforce with a sector that is continuing to evolve, including more than 30,000 people directly employed in the industry, more than $20 billion in annual revenue, and exports of $3.5 billion, including more than half of all Australian pharmaceutical exports. Emma? Victoria's ecosystem is diverse and vibrant and is continuing to grow and evolve. We understand that the full spectrum of activity needs to be fostered. This means maintaining strong foundational research capabilities, world-class infrastructure, and facilities to ensure a pipeline of exceptionally educated graduates to do the work and make innovation real. We are proud of the research and development that happens in our state, providing a value economic boost and also helping to make new life-saving drugs and treatments available to Victorians, to Australians, and to the world. Next slide. This is a snapshot of our ecosystem that underpins the sector. Victoria is home to 37% of medtech and pharma organisations in Australia. We have more life science firms than any other state. One of our greatest attributes is the level of collaboration, the sharing of ideas and building of partnerships. We are truly greater than the sum of parts. And hopefully during these webinars and in-person events, this is the attribute above all else that shines through as you get to know and work with our Victorian companies. Next slide. Melbourne has a vibrant ecosystem, attracting large and small companies. This ecosystem is enhanced by the fact that many large commercial companies make their home in Melbourne, and this gives our industry scale. An example of this is the announcement of Moderna to establish an mRNA facility in Victoria. This will become the first mRNA vaccine manufacturing facility in the Southern Hemisphere. Next slide. In addition to the strengths in medical research, diagnostics and manufacturing, Victoria is a key location for clinical trials. As shown in this slide, Victoria has over 35% of the national dedicated phase 1 facility beds in Australia, making us the national leader. Our leading clinical researchers and our diverse participant pool has given Victoria core strengths in delivering phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. Together with other states and territories in Australia, we benefit from the efficient and responsive regulatory environment without compromising on our world-class standards of safety and efficacy. We also offer value for money, including having an attractive R&D tax incentive of 43.5%. Next slide, Emma. This type of capabilities and facilities does not happen overnight. This has occurred from extensive government support. There is strong bipartisan support for the sector and innovation in general. For over 20 years, the Victorian government has led a range of policy and program initiatives focused on supporting innovation within this sector. Decades of investment in skills, science, and medical research infrastructure. This continues to be evidenced by the large-scale projects intensely supported by the state government. Just one example is the Victorian Heart Hospital now being built in the Monash Heart Hub. Already the site of the largest provider of cardiac care in Victoria, it is soon to be home to the state's leading cardiac specialists and researchers, providing diagnostic and treatment at scale for thousands of patients each year. Next slide, Emma, please. This support is ongoing, and the Victorian government is committed to continuing to grow and support this sector. In addition to the Heart Hospital, more than $150 billion has been directed into the health system and into research. These investments continue to yield economic benefit and great health outcomes and help make Victoria a location of choice. The Australian MedTech Manufacture Centre is a $20 million Victorian government initiative that will support the growth and competitive success of medical technology manufacturing in Victoria, growing local medtech innovation, increasing medtech manufacturing capabilities and capacity, and driving collaboration and connectivity. Last slide. Victoria is recognised internationally for its world-class therapeutic development expertise and as an enviable advanced manufacturing capability. The people who make these capabilities real live and play in a great environment with the schools, facilities and services they and their families need. Melbourne is open for business. It is a friendly, smart, cultured city that is consistently rated among the most livable cities in the world. I hope that by joining these webinars and participating in the physical activities in Singapore, our Victorian companies not only show their capabilities and expertise, but also provide greater insight into the culture, innovation, and collaboration that exists within the Victorian life science ecosystem. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you for that, Magella. And it's whenever I look at those slides and I think about the ecosystem we've got and the amount of research and the amount of companies who are located here in Victoria and the amount of organizations like we're about to hear from, such as the MedTech Actuator that are here. And while we talk about the breadth of companies and startups and research, that the translation, the activities that actually are required to translate from that research into a commercializable state is the service industry that we're here to talk about today. So that just sort of underpins all of that, and you don't get a vibrant ecosystem like we're talking about and like you presented, Magella, without having that as a foundation. So thank you, appreciate that.